Hello, I'm Calum.
I am Alex.
And today we're taking you through part 1 of movement. How to move, where to move, and how far can we really go? Flames of War is a fluid game where well-planned tactical movement can be the difference between wiping your enemy completely off the battlefield or having your own forces brutally defeated.
Alright, so you're going to show me how to move your troops around the battlefield.
Well, first off, don't feel like you always have to move. Sometimes staying right where you are might be a better idea. In this turn, however, I plan to use my M4 Sherman tank. Using the speed table on my unit card, I can see how far my team is able to move. There are two types of basic movement, tactical and dash. Now, tactical movement is used if I intend to fire at the enemy, and thankfully, the movement isn't affected by terrain. This turn, I think moving my M4 Sherman at its tactical speed is a wise move because I want to be able to shoot at your units. My tactical will allow me to move 10 inches or 25 centimeters.
Okay. And you wouldn't always want to shoot and move?
Not necessarily. Sometimes you may want to reposition your troops or just get around the battlefield quickly. This is where the dash movement speeds come in very handy. Your dash speed is dependent on the terrain your team is in. This time I want to move my M4 Sherman quicker and further, so I'll move at dash speed. Since I'm moving across open terrain, I'll use my cross-country dash to move 18 inches or 45 centimeters to get way over here. However, if I wanted to cross over this gentle hill instead, I'd use my terrain dash speed. This is slower as I work my way across the slope, so we'll only be able to move 12 inches or 30 centimeters. It's important to remember that since I performed a dash movement, I'm unable to fire my weapons at this point.
Okay, and you said you might not always want to move and shoot. What if you hadn't moved?
There are two reasons not to move. The first is that your shooting will be more accurate if you want to shoot. The second is if you don't want to shoot, then your units are considered to have gone to ground, and this makes them harder for your team to hit.
Okay, and moving is not always easy or guaranteed?
No, definitely not. Sometimes on the battlefield you'll come across difficult terrain, areas like woods and rivers. These are difficult to cross and you might get stuck. So when you come across one of these hard to cross pieces of terrain, you must roll a cross check to see if you get through, either at tactical or terrain dash speed. On your unit card, you will see a cross check value. You must equal or get higher than the cross check to pass through that terrain.
Okay, well I've decided I'm going to move my Panzer force through this here forest. But first, to get through it, I have to roll a cross check of 3 or more or I'll get stuck. So I've beaten the cross check with a 5, so I can move through the forest. But if I had have rolled a 1 or a 2, I would have failed the cross check and been stuck at the edge like so. Some terrain like swamps and cliffs are impassable and you just have to go around them.
Well, that is all for part 1 of the How to Play Flames of War movement video. In part 2, we'll cover staying in command and movement orders.